Well, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at St John's Evangelist Church in Over. One of the interesting things about it is in 1874, in October, there was a massive cotton mill fire. Strangely, not probably what you think of, but there was an absolutely massive cotton mill in Winsford. And on this day in 1874, lots of people died, and there's a monument to the tragedy. I'm just coming up to it on the right. So it's a mass grave of all the people that sadly passed on that day. And one of the tragedies, this is the actual grave. You can't really read some of it. But some of the people who died: Harriet Whitehurst, aged 34. She was trapped upstairs in the fire, and she threw her 3-month-old baby out into a big tank of water and mist, and the baby sadly died, and that's why you've got the 3-month-old. Her daughter jumped and succeeded. Harriet herself died. There's Miranda there, age 23, she died. John Templar, is it? 20 years. And there was many bodies found inside the burnt out shell. So there's another one there, Catherine Mountfield, age 17. Elaine Fletcher, age 18. A 16-year-old there. Actually very hard to sort of read some of this lettering. Obviously it's an old grave. I mean, one side is really weathered, you can't really make that out at all. It's very difficult. Obviously, with a grave that old, it's a fairly old church and a massive steeple on it. So we'll have a look round at some of the other old graves. As normal, we've done this on Google Maps, so if you skip over some of the graves and you want to see them, they will be on Google Maps. And again, we see in the 1800s, we've seen that all over. A child of 3 died. A lot of children died in the 1800s from cholera and various other things. Old grave there, I've seen better days. Just amazing how you get some old graves that's 1800s and you're very clear, they're still clear, you can still read them, and others from the 1900s you can't. That one's well preserved. We've got sort of a mixture here of old graves. Another child there, 12 years old. That's 1900s though. It's unusual for them to have sort of, there's quite modern graves you can see at the back. And a lot of these are the 1800s. Another child. 1800s were not a time to be born. Everywhere we go, the terrible things that happen to the children. It's always interesting to see there's some fresh flowers there. And the grave is 1944. Obviously a bit sort of like that. I'll give you a general idea of the graveyard. It is one of the tallest sort of steeples, and it's not the best day to come out. It's cold but not freezing. Very often you go into a graveyard when it's freezing, it shows up writing that you don't normally see. Show the mass grave from a distance sort of thing. Again, you see some of these, the ivy's taken over. And some idiot letting off fireworks at flipping 9 o'clock in the morning. There we go again with the fireworks. And there was somewhere here, and I can't find it at the moment, a grave of one of the former vicars, and it was in a rather tatty situation. And you'd have thought that the church would have looked after its own. The ground's just about walkable. Well, it is a bit like a plough field. Another tragic one there, 8 months old. You see how some of them are black? There must have been some sort of works locally at the time. Another one there, 7-year-old, 1876. really a historic thing looking back at all these old graves at the 1800s. How sad it was. And yet another one, aged 2 years and 2 months. There's a very big one there, which seems to be fairly sort of modern, and it's got flowers on it. And just have a look at that. (1975). So it must be a family grave because it goes back to 1876, 1926, 1960. 1973, but again somebody's put flowers on it. These here all tend to be sort of newer graves with an odd old one thrown into the mix. 1924. It's just odd ones that sort of stick out. Typically, if you've got a lot of industries like coal or whatever, you get this blackening of the graves. And there's one there, 1939. Just to show the actual church and its spire. Give you an overall view of the graveyard. This one's certainly a big statement piece from 1881, I think it says. Grave there fell over, but nobody bothers to put them back up. I mean, the grass is sort of walkable. It's not like Ardham where you can play bowls on the grave. It's like a ploughed field. Big grave, presumably a family grave, going back to 1918. (1903). See, all the graves have got the same basic design of this rounded top. Over, of course, is really, you call it Winsford, but it's just another sort of section of Winsford, like Wharton. Now I've got some interesting, always interesting is that one up there. I don't know who that's supposed to be. All these, I've lost the nose on that one, but they do tend to survive a long time. We head round to the back of the church. I don't know who they made this path for. From the 1820s. Another very big statement piece. 1912. And quite what's happened here, because we've got 1, 2, 3 very substantial graves that have all fell over. This must have been quite high status because it's got a metal round it. Now we've got the sort of more modern graves. A few old ones thrown in 1875. And there just seem to be, for some reason, there's more of them here that seem to have fallen over. So very often it can be sort of something happening underground. And we've got sort of a bare bit here. There's another one over there that's fell over. The one there quite well looked after. One, two more that fell over. They're all basically the same design, aren't they? You can see on the bottom and they look almost the same. We've got a war grave here. J.W. Dodd. Another one fell over there. And these are always the best ones. These seem to survive, don't they? These flat ones. There's one there obviously smashed in half. So sometimes you do get vandals coming along smashing graves. God knows why, but one there totally black. And this is sort of the end of the church, or the original church anyway. And then we've got a modern extension of all modern graves. Quite a big graveyard. Some old ones sort of here. All these are fairly up-to-date ones. Got the old cell tower at the back. As we come back round the front the other side, there's another section of old grave. There's one there that sort of stands out. Just have a look at that one. And cross on the top. And quite different. Most of these people are from sort of Winsford. Another one 3 years old again. That was 1900s. Strange again how they face different ways. You've got some facing that way and some facing the other way. one had definitely seen better days. Yeah, it looks quite expensive because they've got them two posts at the side. It looks as though it's been an expensive one, but not weathered well. Only again how you get a section, this section, some nice berries, all the same design of graves, all white, all the same little square ones for some reason. Another unusual one. Quite distinctive, that, very small, 1900s, 1952, only a small one, but it really sort of draws your attention to it. One there must be fairly modern because they've got flowers on, or somebody cares for them. Another look at the old church from a different angle. Another broken one there. Another one in a real state that you can't make out. It's quite interesting that they're all sort of fairly well lined up. And the problem with the older graves is the posher you were, the more land you got and closer to the church you got, the more holy you were. And if you could get sort of right into the church, and you were really doing well. But then they've now started putting them sort of all in line, so it's easier to know. What is interesting, because it's only early January, and got all the snowdrops out. It's always interesting because you find that churches and graveyards very often have very early flowers for some reason, whether it's the richness of the soil or what. It's a lot of churches seem to get that. A lot more coming there as well. Like hundreds of them. It's another sad church that you can't get into. In the old days, that was the idea. You could go into the church and pray or whatever. Now it's become a thing of the past. They're all locked up in case somebody comes and nicks on it. And it's a bit of a strange old clock there. Which obviously isn't working. We'll just have a look at the actual church. We've got all those gargoyles there we've seen. You never quite know what these are. There's two here, but who they're supposed to be is never very clear, and why. There's two up there. And it's a strange colour there. Presuming that's inside, but it all shows off as a strange. You look at it with the naked eye, there's nothing. We have got a cabling going around here. Whereas the church always has the modern things that they have floodlighting, CCTV and all the rest of it. We'll just have a look at the modern graves. See, they're all well lined up, so it should be fairly easy to mow these. Well, they never seem to have enough sense to sort of measure them in width of a lawnmower, so you can get a, you know, 2 rows or 1 row down. Now, for some reason, this bit's better mown than the rest of it. You do find very often that people will come and pay their respects and mow, and then they mow the next bit just to look after their own graves. Again, we've got a lot of these very small white graves at the bottom, so why they're different and why they're all together, whether these are cremations and not burials, because they're a bit sort of close together for a burial. This, of course, is the modern way, is cremation, and then stand back and see the church there. All the trees. And I think that's it for today. It's not actually freezing, it's just sort of dead on zero, with snow forecast anytime soon. Now, if you want to know more about the fire tragedy, if you search for Winsford Cotton Mill fire or similar, there's a lot of historic records of it, showing the old mill, who owned the old mill, size of it, and it was an absolutely massive mill. So you can find more details online with some gruesome detail. The graves, as I say, most of them I've got on Google Maps of any interest, so don't forget Google Maps if you want to see more of the graves. I think it's time to go and get warm. So it's just a pity that you can't get in these churches. You go to some churches and they're always open.